everybody, welcome to another episode of Visible Kindness. This is the show where kindness is your strength and your story matters. And I'm glad to have you with us, Nick. Very excited to have you. I'm so glad you reached out to me. You have this is going to be a very interesting show. I love what you're doing. You're the first person that's contacted me that has kindness, that you're on a kindness journey that is, I thought I was working on a kindness journey, and I am. And you reached out because of what I'm doing. And we have something that's very similar in what we're doing. I'm really grateful for you having reached out. I'm so glad you did. You're a very interesting person. You're the co-founder of a company called the Global PinkSocks Movement. And the first time I heard that, I was like, Global PinkSocks Movement? Like, what is that all about? And you told me some stories, which I'd love to ask you again today, some of the things that have happened. But it's actually a movement that's built on human connection and generosity and the radical belief that kindness can scale. And those words are just words in the beginning, but what you have has literally gone humongous. Like, you're around the world now. That's what you're around the world now. It's incredible. You are a formal healthcare executive, and you traded boardrooms for barefoot living. That's interesting. We're going to hear about that. I want to hear you talk about Burning Man, because I looked at you on your TEDx talk, and I'm going to play a few clips from that as well. It's very, very cool. You have an amazing story, and your TEDx talk has inspired so many people. It really has, around the world. And I just was so excited to see what is going on with you, and the power of simple yes to change a life. And it's great. I want to show your website as well as we get going. But Nick Atkins, my friend, I just want to welcome you to Visible Kindness.
Ed, thank you. I'm grateful to be on here, man. So listen, Pink Socks Life is a global movement. We started 10 years ago. We'll talk more about that as we get into this thing, but I'm so grateful that I found you, because when I wrote this book, and we're going to talk about the book, the one thing I did is I went to the internet and I said, I need to find the podcasts that are talking about kindness. And that's how I found you. You came up like, boom, one of the top 3 podcasts in the world talking about kindness. So that was the impetus for me to reach out to you, because I said, oh man, this is somebody I want to share space with and do some heart speak, man. Let's talk about kindness.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much to go with here. I'd like to kick us off with a clip from your TEDx talk, if you don't mind. I would love to. It'd be great for people to see who you are, what you're doing. And when I first saw this, you just grabbed my attention big time, and I would have loved to have been at that event. So let me pull that up and let's take a look at this.
Yes, right? Say it with me. Yes. Yes is where the fun is. Yes is where the adventure is. Yes is where the story is. If you say no, the story ends. Okay. I didn't always look like this. That was me back in 1895. Maybe 1995. I was fresh out of business school working at the Vanderbilt Health Plans in Nashville. And for most of my adult life, I was that guy. The suit-wearing guy. Then I went to this thing called Burning Man. Yeah, so in 2010, I had been with my dad, watched him die from cancer, and I said, I'm ready to say yes to life. Life's happening right now, right here. Don't miss it. What if we all gave ourselves the opportunity, the permission, the self-space to say yes, right? Just say yes.
Okay,
to Burning Man
that is something right there. It's to say yes. And in this talk, I like how the word yes comes up so loud. But that is a huge phrase that you have used to start off your TED Talk. What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so what if you do give yourself the permission to say yes, right? To just allow yourself to be open, willing, and present to have the experience, just to say yes, right? Show up, be open, willing, and present to have that experience, to not judge it before it happens, to have the experience, to let go of that construct of judgment that we all live in. We come to so much stuff in life with judgment and biases and things that we think it is or it's going to be or should be. What if we just showed up and let it flow? What if we just said, let's love more, let's fear less, let's float more, let's steer less? I got that from my friend Halcyon, who I don't know how much of this TED Talk you're going to show, but he's in there. And so this whole concept of let go of the fear, just love more, fear less, float more, steer less, allow yourself just to say yes. There's magic that happens in that over and over again.
Let me ask you a question. I hope you don't mind, because I didn't ask you before we started if I could ask you these certain questions. But
You can ask me anything.
you talked about your father passing away.
Yeah.
And when I watched this, and I've watched this several times, and just really thought about who you are, your life, and your website, and everything you're doing. I just thought, our parents are really important in our lives. And what after your dad passed, what made you start saying yes to life?
Well, yeah, I think I was saying yes to life all along. So my dad got a cancer diagnosis about almost 3 years prior to me going to that first Burning Man I went to in 2010. And when he got the diagnosis, the doctor said, "You've got 6 months. You got 6 months to live." So, oh my gosh, we went home, we did the bucket list and wrote all the things down, and we went and did the bucket list. And 6 months went by, and he was asymptomatic and was feeling great. And just other than having a cancer diagnosis, we didn't know that anything was wrong. And the type of cancer he had was called chronic lymphocytic leukemia, CLL17. So it's a blood cancer. And it really didn't manifest itself until about 2.5 years after the diagnosis. And it really manifested and it started like he just became tired and more tired and more tired and more tired. He just kind of wasted away. And so when we first got that diagnosis, we thought, oh my gosh, we got 6 months to say yes and let's go do some stuff. And that turned out to be 2.5 years of just, having a phone call every day with Dad, going to see him every weekend and hanging out and doing all the trips and saying yes to, well, can you go do this? Well, yes, I can. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I can come down. Yes, we can go there. And so when we're faced with the immediacy of life, that how life is happening right now, right here, don't miss it. The urgency of saying yes becomes very real when you're faced with the information that my dad was faced with. And the reality, Ed, is, we're all one phone call away from it's cancer. We're all one heartbeat away from a heart attack or a stroke. We're all 1 nanosecond away from that 18-wheeler drifting over into the lane and having that head-on crash. I mean, this life is so finite. It's so fragile. It's so precious. So I say yes, man. Just soak it up. Be the sponge. Don't put off like, oh, I was going to do that later. I'm going to do that when I got older. I was going to do that when I got enough money, or do it now. What is that thing you're waiting on? Go say yes and do it right now.
I've really brought that into my life a lot with every day that I go out, thinking about just it's so important to be in the moment and to take advantage of every moment that we have, because you just don't know. I came home from on Saturdays. I volunteer at a food bank, and when I came home, my apartment was on fire, and nobody had called 911 yet. I walked in. You just don't know what's going to happen, right? I walked into my apartment. I'm like, I live in a pre-retirement home. I didn't know that when I moved in here. And I'm the youngest guy in here. And I love living here, by the way. It's been great. It really has been great. And I walked in, and there was smoke everywhere. So I went running down the hallway where the most amount of smoke was coming, and there were 2 elderly men that were in this apartment room, and it was loaded with smoke. There's no way I would walk in, and I was worried about them, worried about what they were trying to do. They were trying to rescue a woman whose fire was in that room, and I said, "Have you guys called 911 yet?" And they said no, and I said, "Well, I'll call 911." And all of this happened, and then the photographer came, the newspaper came, and then it's all over the newspaper. And that lady could have died. Those 2 men could have died. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. Yeah. We're on a very similar page in that way. I want to bring up the Burning Man for a second, because when you showed that, and then they showed the audience, everybody's like, "What?" And they're laughing at it. But I was just thinking, what did the Burning Man unlock in your life that the corporate world couldn't. And could you kind of give us a little bit of a explanation of what your corporate life was like, and then how, like, this shift that happened?
Yeah. So, like I said in the TED Talk, most of my adult life, I was the suit and tie guy. I was the custom suits, cufflinks. I was that guy. I was the CEO of a national healthcare company based in Nashville. Very type A, everything's an Excel spreadsheet. And, going through this experience with my dad for those almost 3 years of just being in the now with him as much as possible and saying yes to things in life. He died in June of 2010, and I went to the playa, the Burning Man, that August. So just right after. And so at work, we were trying to decide what we were going to do. We were at a kind of a crossroads for the company. Should we sell the company? Should we buy a company? Should we merge with that company? Should we just take on some more debt and build this thing out for ourselves? What do we want to do? And I didn't have an answer. So I just said, look, I'm going to go to this thing called Burning Man. It's in the desert in Nevada. There's 70,000 people from all around the world are going to come to this thing. And, I'm going to come back with an answer. And so I went to Burning Man, came back. Now I'm in the boardroom, suntan, hadn't shaved, wearing t-shirt, blue jeans, Tevas, no more suit and tie. And they were like, well, how was that Burning Man thing? I said, it was great. And they're like, well, what do you want to do with the company? And I said, what's your vote? I said, sell it. I'm out. And they were like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to move to Portland, Oregon to become a hippie. And that's what I did.
That's what you said?
That's exactly what I said.
Wow. It's not the 60s.
I'd already made up, I had defined, Portland, Oregon. I'd been there 5 years earlier on my 40th birthday. I went to Portland. And I traveled all around the world at that point. And, it's like, well, where do you want to go for your 40th birthday? I said, well, I've never really been to Portland, Oregon. And I had this best friend who was from there who was like, you love Portland, you should go. And so I said, well, yeah, I'm going to go to Portland, Oregon. And I loved it. And the whole Oregon coast. And I kind of said in my mind, hey, I think, when I retire, I could see this, I could see me being here in the Pacific Northwest. And, so fast forward to 5 years later, my dad dies and I go to Burning Man. And so what do you want to do with your life now? Your dad's gone and you've got a decision to make with the company. And, those two back-to-back experiences of being with my dad and watching him on his journey and then going to Burning Man and sitting with all these emotions and feelings and listening to my heart and getting out of my head and being with people who were like-minded, also, on a journey of exploration for themselves, is I discovered a gazillion things in that week. But one of the things I discovered and really accepted that life is not linear. So I could forget all the things I learned in business school. I could let go of all the spreadsheets and the pivot tables and say that life is not a series of if-then equations. Life is not linear. It's spiraling in and out like the universe. They're just happening randomly all the time. So, it's like, well, do I want to wait till I'm a little older to go ahead and pull the trigger on making that move to Oregon? No, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get that future. It's happening right now. There's only the now. So I was like, I'm going now. I'm not waiting. And like I said, we could all get that phone call. And so I moved on it. I listened to myself. I listened to my heart, and I said yes. And it's made all the difference.
Let's talk a little bit about the Pink Socks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Pink Socks. You have a book coming out, and
it's called Pink Socks.
How a Pair of Socks Became a Symbol of Love and Connection by Nick Atkins. Could you tell us about that and share some of the stories? Even I don't know if you remember when you told me about in the elevator with you and the other two guys, but like what is behind this?
Yeah. Well, as you saw in
And I said,
that clip you showed from San Francisco, I wear a kilt. And so when I moved to Portland in April of 2012,
don't miss it.
in June of 2012, so right after I got there, I met a burner who owns a kilt company called Stumptown Kilts. And he said, Nick, have you ever worn a kilt? And I said, no. And he said, you want to try one? And I said, yes. So I went over to the kilt shop and tried a kilt on and put my blue jeans in the bag. And I walked out with the jeans in the bag and I never looked at pants again. I got rid of all my pants. So I only wear kilts and I only wear their brand. And so, yeah,
Right, sorry, you do like, is this an everyday thing for you?
yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm in a kilt.
I didn't know that. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
At the TED Talk, I thought, it's, this
yeah.
is so
So
cool.
I day one, I mean, I got rid of, I was like, that's it. I'm done with pants. I was like,
Huh.
where's this been all my life? I love a kilt. And so what I discovered immediately day one from wearing a kilt is you have to wear fun socks, right? Because everybody sees your socks. You can't be that guy in the black knee-high dress socks with the Bermuda shorts. You know, that guy, you can't be that guy.
Can't be.
So, no, never. So I went and bought all the fun, funky socks I could find. T-Rexes, Sasquatch, unicorns, cupcakes, rainbows, you name it. I had a drawer full of fun, funky socks. And the pair that got the most, hey, I like your socks every time, were these pink knee-high socks with black handlebar mustaches on them. And so, yeah, there's literally socks. I mean, I'm wearing socks.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And so when I did,
Show
so
them
the
again.
OG,
Show them again. Show them again.
the OG.
Yeah. Oh, you can see, yeah. So,
Yeah. So the OG.
I have to order a pair, man. I got to order a
Yeah,
pair
man.
of those.
Come on, PinkSocks.life.
I will.
And so we provide them at cost and we provide them by the dozens because we want you to gift them. It's all built on this ethos of gifting, which Burning Man has 10 principles, like a social contract that everybody signs off on. So when you get out there, you have to go by these 10 principles so that the event doesn't devolve and fold in on itself and become Lord of the Flies before the week's over.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when I did that TED Talk in San Francisco in 2017, I added a design element to the pink socks, which is a puzzle piece to represent the power of connection. So pink socks connecting people all around the world. And at this point, and this past April was our 10th birthday, so we've been doing this for 10 years. Over 300,000 pairs of these pink socks have been gifted all around the world. And it's really built on that ethos of gifting. And this message on the front says, the label says, the world is full of good. When you believe it, you see it. Keep doing that. Yeah, it's all around us. And so how we can connect with each other. And I'll talk a bit more about this and what's in the book and share that whole ethos of gifting and connection and kindness. But that's really what it's all about is showing up in the world with love and kindness and making that choice.
So
To choose love over fear.
at what point did you realize that pink socks wasn't just a fun, cool idea, but it became a global movement?
I guess I need to back up. I kind of jumped over some stuff. So,
Excuse me.
so 2012, I start wearing the kilt. I'm doing a really good job at being a hippie, Ed. A really good job. I'm riding my pink furry bike called the Pink Cadillac and just having a great time. And I got involved with a startup that created some really cool technology in the healthcare IT space, specifically around secure video. So what they call HIPAA compliant, which is a privacy thing for healthcare. Basically, the ability to securely record, store, and share a video. Like you're going to go see the doctor, you're coming out of the hospital, you've had surgery, they're going to try to tell you and your care team how to take care of you. You're not going to remember any of that. So the doctor says, hey, look, I'm just going to record this for you and your family and everybody that's going to try to take care of you when you get home so you don't come back to the hospital. But you don't want that video to go up on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, you know, just be private. So we created technology to do that. And I came on board as a co-founder and the COO of that company. And so here we were, this little startup in Portland, Oregon, trying to break into the healthcare world with some cool technology for this, basically asynchronous telemedicine, if you will. And I was like, well, we've got to get our name out there. So I looked up, and there was a big global conference of healthcare IT professionals that happens every year. And that year in 2015, it was in Chicago. So I told Andrew Richards, who is another one of our co-founders and our chief technology officer, I said, look, we're going to go to this thing in Chicago. It's 42,000 people in suits and ties. I don't even own pants. So you don't wear a suit either. Just wear some blue jeans and a brew pub t-shirt. Roll your jeans up a little. I'm going to go get us 100 pair of these pink socks. I'm going to put 50 in my backpack. You put 50 in your little bag.
No way. No
way. We're going to go
way.
rolling in there to the McCormick Center in Chicago. And every time somebody comes up and says, hey, what's the story with those pink socks? We're going to go, hey, I'm Nick and this is Andrew. We've got some pink socks for you. And we're going to create, connection via a gift. And Ed, I mean, this is all in the book, but day one, we walked in there, gave away a pair of pink socks. We walk in, we're immediately being invited to these big pavilions with giant booths. So Intel, Microsoft, Dell, Walgreens, just like, come meet with our CEO, come meet with our chief medical officer, come meet with our CTO. We want to meet you guys and talk about the technology you're building. We use this hashtag pink socks, always one word, always plural. The hashtag went viral at that event. We took over. We went from nobody's ever heard of us to we were the thing. And some of those original connections we made in 2015 in Chicago are still, great connections and friends now. And as that year went on, we're out doing what startups do, which is try to raise money. And so we're down, Sand Hill Road, Palo Alto, we're in New York, we're in Boston, we're pitching our balls off, asking for money. And we continue to go to different IT conferences throughout that year, gifting pink socks along the way, having fun. That's back when Twitter was fun, and everybody was nice. And we put pictures of us in our pink socks, and we were growing this hashtag pink socks. And so a year went by, and it was now time to go back to that original conference. And I think the next year it was in Orlando. And I was talking to Andrew on the phone, sitting on the sofa, and he's like, well, what are we going to take to Orlando? And I was like, well, we can't take pink socks. We had fun with that. We've done it for a year. We played on Twitter, had a great time, made a lot of friends, but we got to do something else, because it was like Elvis, right? There's young Elvis, and then there's old fat Elvis. And I was like, oh man, the pink socks need to go out as young Elvis. We don't want it to go out, fat old Elvis. and somebody sent me a message, a DM on Twitter, and said, hey, Nick, did you send some pink socks to somebody in the Netherlands? And I'm like, no, what? As I tell you, there was a guy in the Netherlands that has sourced pink socks on his own and was using them to drive awareness for the work that he's doing with Alzheimer's and dementia care. Oh, yeah. Another guy, like right after that, sends me a DM on Twitter and says, hey, Nick, did you send some pink socks to somebody in Wales? I'm like, what? There was a guy in Wales that had sourced pink socks, using them to drive awareness for the work that he's doing with ataxia, which is a rare disease. It's at that moment, Ed, that we knew that this thing had gone organic, that it had become a thing. And the people from TED called me a few weeks after that and said, hey, Nick, we'd like for you to come, tell the story of the pink socks movement. And I was like, I told the last, I kind of laughed. I go, it's not a movement. It's just a bunch of people having fun, gifting each other pink socks and playing on Twitter. And she's like, and I'm like, what do you want me to talk about? Telemedicine? And she's like, no, it is a movement. And we want you to come share the story on the TED stage. And I'm like, okay. So
let's take a look at another clip on that TED stage. I got another piece I want to take a look at. And I was wondering about, if I'm not mistaken, you also connected with astronauts as well, yeah? Yeah. Incredible. 5
astronauts now have pink socks. They've been gifted along the way. I was grateful to gift Captain John A. McBride. His stories in the book, The Captain. He was on the space shuttle. He was the Thunderbird pilot, the Navy aviator team, the the Thunderbird. Is it
Yeah.
the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels? The Blue Angels. Which one's which? I don't know.
I don't know. They're
Naval
both really
Aviator
cool.
Performance Group. So he flew the Spirit of 1776, the lead fighter jet, and then he got, NASA came calling, and he was a pilot on two missions on the space shuttle. And how I got to meet him, and that story's in the book, and it's just still one of my all-time favorites.
Wow.
And four other astronauts have been gifted pink socks by people. I mean, we have Commander Hadfield, the Canadian, who was on the space station, who played the guitar and sang David Bowie. You
Oh, I
ever
didn't even
seen
know
that?
that.
He's got pink socks. Yeah, he's in the book. And anyway, so it's just Deepak Chopra, has pink. I mean, it's just, again, built on this ethos of gifting. So people are just gifting pink socks all around the world every day. So it's fun to get on watch that hashtag and see what's happening.
Let's take a look
Everybody
at this.
stand up.
I love what you did with the audience here.
Let's try a little. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. We're going to just follow my directions and don't say anything right now. But what I want you to do is I want you to face the person next to you. Hopefully it's somebody you didn't come with. If you did come with them, that's fine, but try to look at a stranger. Maybe that person's behind you or in front of you. Okay? So let's listen. Listen. Let's be silent. Now what I want you to do is just look at each other. Shh. Yeah. So I want you to be silent. I want you to look at each other in the eye, and you just get a little close. Don't worry, we're not gonna have any HR violations here. I want you to look at each other with intent. With intent. And when I tell you to say these words, I want you to say the words I'm about to tell you. Look at the other person in the eyes and say these words. Okay, shh, ready? I see you. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. Right. Hugs. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You've just listen. You've just heard and felt what some people will go through this whole time, this whole dimension, their whole life, never having someone say that to them, never feeling that, never being seen. Yeah. Can we keep doing that?
That is a powerful thing that you did there. And when I watched that, and I was just thinking about being there. I like how they stood up, and guaranteed everybody is going to stand and look at somebody that they probably know or that they came with, or that they've been talking to. And I like how you asked them to turn around and speak to someone you probably don't know, or you hope you don't know. And I also like how it was. Everybody's talking, because they're going to do something uncomfortable. So everybody's talking, and then you bring everybody down, and you're like, shh, bring everybody down. And then you brought them through that exercise. And it was just mind-boggling. I watched it several times, because it's one to see it the first time when you haven't seen it, and then to watch it a few times afterwards is pretty cool. And,
I haven't seen that in a long time, so that was fun to watch.
Well, is that right? I'm glad we did.
Listen, I've done that all over the world. I mean, London, Berlin, the Netherlands. I mean, and I just did it last week in New York. I was at an AI conference speaking in the Empire State Building. And it was a group of basically CEOs and leaders. And I did that same exercise. And and every time I've done this, Ed, and you saw it right then, and I was like, oh wow, people, the reaction is always the same. I'm always having to tell them, okay, almost like first graders. Okay, let's be quiet. No talking. Just look at each other. Don't look at me. Let's get it. And I did the same thing last week, and I was telling these CEOs, okay, let's be quiet. And after they do it, I said, now think about what you felt, how nervous you were. And so here you are, just all really great, highly educated, powerful leaders, shaping the direction that AI is going for the world. But you had so much nervous energy on just doing a very simple thing, which is stop talking and just look at someone in the eyes. And so that speaks to something that we have to remind ourselves to come back to. And the book talks about that. And that's really one of the reasons I wrote the book, is a reminder that we have to come back to connecting with each other, especially in a world of AI, right? So we have to be able to say to somebody, it's good to see you. I see you. Those are magical words. And like I said, then, some people go their whole lives never having someone tell them that. I mean, I see you. I see you. I'm seeing you in the now. I'm seeing you outside of any construct of judgment or any bias. I don't know where you work. I don't know where you don't work. I don't know where you went to school, didn't go to school, how much money you have, don't have. None of that matters in the now. Only thing that matters right now is now and love. That's all there is. And so, hey, it's good to see you. And there's magic in those words.
Yes, there is.
Like when I first see someone for the first time on our paths, I don't say, hey, it's good to meet you. I say, it's good to see you. There's different energy in those words, right? It's good to meet you. It's good to see you.
That's very different.
Very different. And it sets the tone for the rest of that connection and the rest of the stories and heart speak that will follow. Because people now say, hey, it's good to be seen. Yeah. Do you have a minute? I got something I want to tell you. Yeah, I got a minute. Share it.
What you're saying is,
that's what the book is, a collection of these stories.
I like, we're doing a lot of parallel things. A lot of things are different, but a lot of things are parallel. Yeah. I really enjoy, whenever I go out to get groceries or get gas or whatever it is that I'm doing, get coffee, when you watch people, and when I travel, I take pictures of there's people standing in a lineup for coffee, and everybody's on their phone. And when you look and see, they're all in different positions, and not a single person is talking to the other person. Nothing.
Yeah.
And so I'll go and I'll start talking to people along the line up there, and I'll ask them, "How are you doing today?" Right? And just start a conversation. Have you found what you're looking for? And just to break them out of their concentration on their phone. I just enjoy doing that. Or when I'm going shopping, I always like, or when I get a coffee, I always like to ask, so how's your day going? And like just look at them in the eye and say, how is everything going? Like, is everything all right? And I'll be like that, and they'll shake out of the routine that they're in, of just people going by and doing the cash register and not getting attention. We all want attention. We all want to hear how people care about what we're saying.
Yeah. It's like, it's sometimes we confuse connectivity, right? This is connectivity with connection. What you and I are doing right now is connection.
Absolutely.
We're using connectivity to have a true, authentic connection. And so Pink Socks is an invitation. Especially the book is a reminder to have connection. And that can happen in line at the post office or at the coffee shop or the grocery store. Some of my favorite moments of connection happen at the post office. I'm always going to the post office.
For sure. Yeah.
To mail out Pink Socks. And I've mailed out Pink Socks at post offices all around the way here, especially the year and a half that I did van life. Some of that's in the book, the van life. But the post office, I would tell you, it's if anybody's going to lose their shit, they're going to lose it in line at the post office. Right?
Absolutely.
And so, I just kind of wait for it. And then when that person, loses it, I just stop and I say, listen, it's all going to be okay. The post office is an opportunity for us to practice patience.
Yeah. And
it's a meditation.
You need to feel for these people because there's only one guy doing it, right?
And we're all going to do it. And I said, look, I don't have to be anywhere right now. Is everybody okay if he goes to the front of the line because he's got to be somewhere? Are we cool? And everybody's like, yeah, go ahead.
That's awesome.
We just all practice some kindness. It's like, you're sure, be kind, right?
Yeah, and that's why I wear these, and that's what, like we were talking about before the show, is that I had a shopping line of them when I first got started, but I was just investigating what it is I wanted to do with visible kindness, and so I wear my own shirts. This is not my own; somebody else made Be Kind, but it doesn't really matter. Whenever I wear my kindness shirts, I always forget that I'm wearing them. Right? You just because you're doing your thing and you just don't know you're wearing it. And I came up with a few that were really cool. One says. One kind word can change someone's entire day. And when I put that on, I forget that I've got it on. And I've had so many experiences with that when I wasn't ready for it. One of the best ones was when I was in Starbucks and I was standing in line. I got to the front, and it was an elderly lady. She was definitely in my age now. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I could use a kind word." That's what she said to me. And I was like, oh, right, I'm wearing that shirt. And I said, okay, I'll give you one. And I said to her, and so something had to come. And I said, you know what? I said, you just look great today. I don't know if it's the clothes you're wearing or the makeup you got going on. I said, but it's just the whole package. And I was talking like that. Your whole package. You just look great. And she was just like, oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Well, and the way I said it was with so much expression.
And that costs nothing.
Behind me, they could hear.
Nothing to do that.
No. It totally made my day. I mean, I feel great, right?
Made her day.
The people behind me could hear. The other baristas, they could hear, and it guaranteed there's going to be people that left that building that day and talked to somebody else about what they saw. And the lady, she said to me, she goes, "That coffee's on me." I said, "No, it's not. You're not buying my coffee." And then one of the baristas behind her said, "Oh yeah, it is, because we're gonna pay for your coffee." And I said, "Well, thank you very much." And look at what happened just in that. Just getting my coffee. Like normally you just go get your coffee and you're just in your world, and I love what we're doing, what we're doing is an amazing thing to do.
Our logo, like on the book, this Love More, it's also on the label of the socks, and we have stickers and we have shirts and gear and stuff. Mine says Love More, right? So I either wear shirts. I have some shirts that say Be Kind, or I wear the Love More shirt, and I have some shirts that say Free Hugs, which is a good one.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
And people go, I'm like, yeah, bring it. Hugs. And every time I give away a pair of pink socks or a sticker, I always say with the sticker, I go, somebody will say, "Hey, I like your kilt," or "I like your socks," or "I like your beard," or "I like your hat," or whatever that thing is that and I stop and say, "Hey, what's your name?" "I'm Nick." And I'll what's your name? They'll say, "Well, I'm Ed." "Hey, Ed, it's good to see you. Wait a minute, I got something for you." I reach in, I said, "Listen, all we have to do in each and every now is show up with love and kindness. You're already doing that. Just keep doing it. Deal?" And like, boom, deal. This little sticker, you would think that I just gave them the keys to the city, right? So the gift is not the token. The gift is not the sticker. The gift is not even the pink socks. The gift is that connection. Stopping and having that moment of connection, seeing someone right there in the now, and the ripple effects, not just the people who witness it, but the ripple effects in that person's life and the people who witness it, not just in that now, throwing that stone of kindness into the pond and watching the ripples go. They go and they go and they go. And they go exponentially out in ways that we can't even fathom the change that you made in that woman's life, not just that moment, that day, that week. She told that story to all her girlfriends, her kids, people that watched it. I mean, one little act of kindness is so powerful. I routinely tell people, and have been for years, we cannot always control governments and politics. We can't. But what we can control is how we interact with people, one person at a time, one smile at a time, one pair of pink socks at a time, right? So we just have to keep doing that.
And this
one
is
person at a time.
This is such a powerful time to be here. I never expected our culture to go the way it's gone and the way it's going. And as I've been like yourself, it's like, wow, this is really, really needed. It's so needed.
People have been telling me for years, "Nick, you got to write a book about pink socks. You got to do it. You got to do it." I'm like, no. And finally, who would become my editor, Jonathan Reichenthal, who's the former chief technology officer of the city of Palo Alto, our friends. And he's like, Nick, really, this book and what Pink Socks is doing around the world, and you guys spreading love and kindness, the world needs this reminder, it needs this message. And so that's really why I wrote the book, is to remind us, that sometimes the world seems very dark and fractured.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And so we can't lose sight of what our hearts know.
Yeah.
Our minds, are getting bombarded with the algorithm and the fire hose of fear and just gaslit nonstop and getting complex PTSD every day just by watching the news or social media. We have to put the phone down for a minute, come back to our hearts, and listen to that message that our heart speaks. It knows the way, this ancient message that's been handed down for millennia, that love is the way, that we love ourselves. We have to love ourselves, and then we learn to love ourselves. We provide that space to love each other. Yeah. And so, once we step beyond the political ideologies and the geopolitical boundaries and borders, we just see ourselves in each other one to one, we find that we're all so much similar, so much the same than we are different. We all want love and peace. We all want to have a pint with our friends. We want to go watch our kids play soccer. We want to pick that flower. We want to watch that butterfly. We want to see that blue sky. These things are common in all of us. And once we can get away from the polarization, the team that's backing us up saying, oh, you're going to hate that person. No. And we get these one-on-one moments at the post office, or Starbucks. That's where the magic happens. When we let go of all of this rhetoric and all of the algorithms that are telling us that we should be mad at each other, we let go of that. And we say, hey, man, I don't have the answers. I'm as scared as you are. We're in the middle of a fucking perma crisis every day. It's some kind of chaos. And I'm just trying to get through this. And once we realize that we're all in this together, that's when the healing happens. That's when the real, true, authentic connection happens, human to human. And so that's why I wrote the book. And listen, it was a difficult book to write. I mean, it's a tiny little book, but it was the hardest thing I've ever done because, I looked at it. There were three audiences that I wanted to speak to, and so circles, if you will. So that first circle was the existing Pink Socks tribe around the world, people that have their pink socks. They know what we're all about. They're doing it. The second circle was people that, hey, I've heard about pink socks, but I'm not really sure exactly what it is. I'd like to learn more. And then that third circle, the larger, the world, never heard about this before. So how do you make this story relevant to somebody that's never heard it? So Ed, I wrote the book for you, right? You're in that circle. You've never heard about this. So you shaped the direction that the book ultimately took. And that was that I wanted to write a story that would speak to your heart, to everyone's heart, to say, listen, here's a reminder of something that you may have forgotten, but you already know. And so if you'll just sit with this book and these stories, and the book is small, you can read it in 1-2 sittings at the most. And that's my intention, because we've all got short attention spans.
It might take me a little longer, but
thanks to social media. But yeah, it's not going to take you long to read it.
Yeah.
So you can stay in the flow of this and not get lost. So it's I'm grateful to share it with your audience, and it's a message that resonates for all of us. So I hope that it speaks to your heart in a way that I know that it will.
Oh, this is there's something happening. I think when we slow down and we take in the moments like you're talking about, our lives will either take a different path or we'll be aware of the path that we're on that we weren't before. And I'm just noticing in my life, as I've had to slow down, as people know, because I've had a brain surgery and my whole life has just completely changed. And we talked about this. We get one day at a time. You don't know what's going to happen, what's going to change. And I've been forced to physically and mentally just stop. And I haven't spent much time on social media for the last year and a half, a little bit here and there. And I haven't done podcasting like I'd like to, but I've sat around and thought a lot about life. And then all of a sudden you pop up in my life. And then this lady here pops up. I'm talking to her this week. Her name's Alexis Lackey. She's got a book called Changed Forever. And her story is just it's another powerful story. My point is I'm just running into people that are really making an impact in my own personal life like this. And then to the audience that connects with these kinds of stories and people like yourself, it's a huge gifting for me to be able to have you come on my show. That's what I would like to say.
It's a gift to be here. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's like the label on the socks, right? The world is full of good. When you believe it, you see it. Keep doing that. And the more that you see it, the more you see, right? So it's once you see something, you can't unsee it. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. And so this part of, every one of us, we're all on our own journey. We're all on our own path that's unfolding. We're all in our own films. This life that we're experiencing. It's all unique, but it's all so much, like the puzzle pieces represent the power of connection. I like to say that we're all a piece of a puzzle, this big, beautiful, wonderful, majestical, scary, frightening, lovely, blissful puzzle of life.
Yeah.
And it takes all of those pieces to make that puzzle and all of our beautiful uniqueness to make this one beautiful experience of life. And once you see it that way, once you open up into that, and it becomes easier and easier the more you see it. It's like, there'll be signs everywhere. Like you start thinking like, oh, I started seeing hearts in my latte on top of my coffee, and now I'm seeing hearts on the ground, and I'm finding rocks that look like hearts, and whatever that thing is, we start, the people are like, well, Nick, don't be toxic, do-gooder, don't, the world is, isn't full of good. Well, no shit, there's a lot of crap in the world. There's a lot of terrible stuff in the world. I'm not saying that there isn't. There's some horrible things in the world, but it's like, I wear these glasses so I can actually see when I read.
Put them on.
And so right, and so
wow.
And
dude, you look so great. You look so cool. When I first saw you on the TEDx stage, the first 5 seconds, honestly, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm interested in this. That's what I thought. You came out and it was like it only took 20 seconds, and I was completely different. And
it's like I say, you got to look through the lens. We choose a lens
absolutely
of what we want to see, and if we want to focus on the shit,
that's right.
That's what we're going to see.
You can't.
That's all you'll see. I mean,
that's right.
There's this friend of mine from Burning Man, and he's really, I mentioned him in the book, Halcyon Johnston, who's started Pink Heart Camp at Burning Man, and I really hat tip to him and his late Grandpa Caleb, and all their teachings on love and just how to show up in the world with kindness. But Halcyon, he tells a story, and I'm going to share it real quick with you, and I've shared it a lot of times, but it goes like this. It says, in every now, we're standing with one foot in a pile of dog crap. Oh, God. Oh, look at this crap. And then in this hand, we're holding an ice cream cone. So, oh, ice cream cone. Oh, crap. Oh, look at this crap. Oh, God, my crap smells so bad. Get down here. Smell my crap. My crap's worse than your crap. Oh, ice cream cone. I mean, think about this. You and I, we're old enough. We've let friends go through the years because every time you get together, all they want to talk about is their crap.
Yeah.
No matter how good the restaurant is, no matter how beautiful the place is, all they want to do is talk about their divorce, 25 years ago. Oh God, whatever. Crap, crap, crap. I just can't be around you anymore because all you want to do is talk about crap, no matter what. Cone. There's so much cone in life. People are falling in love. I've got a little flower garden that I'm growing, grow my own vegetables. I'm going to go watch my friends play soccer. I'm having friends over for dinner. My health is good. Do you know that there's a room in my house, Ed, that's got a hole in the wall and water comes out and I get to get clean? So much cone. So
Wow.
much cone. So these things exist, and every now they coexist, the crap and the cone. Our mission is, what do you want to focus on? The crap or the cone? Focus on the cone, right?
I
Don't
love it.
focus on the shitty things out in the world.
Yeah.
Focus on all the good. It's
Yeah.
all around us.
Yeah.
I see it in you. You
Yeah.
see it, lady at Starbucks, etc. It's all around
That's
us.
right. That's
All we
right.
have to do is stop and say, "Hey, it's good to see you."
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
That's
Love it, man. I've got like 2 or 3 questions for you as we come to the end of this. I've been wanting to ask you.
oh no, it's questions.
I've ordered your book, by the way, and when I'm gonna, I wasn't doing solo episodes at first when I was doing my show, but I'm gonna do solo episodes as I go. Because when I get your book, I want to do a solo episode on your book. I'm gonna do a solo episode on Alexis's book, and just on kindness and what happened to me that day, and all these kinds of things. That's what I want to do. But there's a few things I wanted to ask you, and there's a question I always ask at the end, which would be the last one. But I like how you said that the universe taps us on the shoulder when someone comments on our socks. What helps you notice those moments instead of missing them?
Yeah, because I'm very aware of what's happening in those moments. So the instructions are on the back of the socks. It says, when you wear these, you're going to connect with someone new. Had you not been wearing your pink socks that day, the two of you would have missed each other. So when someone says, "Hey, I like your socks," that's your opportunity to stop and say, "It's good to see you." Don't miss each one of those connections, those moments.
Dude, that
So
is
the
great.
instructions are on the back. And so what I do is, obviously I'm wearing pink socks every day, but a lot of times it's not, "Hey, I like your socks." It's maybe, "Hey, I like your kilt," or, "Hey, I like your beard," or, "I like your hat." Whatever
Yeah.
compliment that I get, whatever thing it is
Yeah.
I know that that's the universe going, "Take this out, put this down, stay on the bus another stop, say, I'm Nick, what's your name? Hey, Ed, it's good to see you. How's it going? Hey, look, I've got a sticker for you. If I don't have my bag with pink socks in it, I've always got these in my kilt.
Yeah.
So, this is all we got to do. You're already doing it. Keep doing it. Boom." And then that, what maybe, look, pink socks may not be your thing. That's okay. Find what is your thing, man. Make it be a t-shirt that says "Be kind." Walk around with one of those white tigers hanging out of your backpack. Just anything that gets people to engage. When that happens, take it. Don't just stop and say thank you and keep walking.
For sure.
And the more you do this, the more you practice this, the more it just becomes easier. It becomes your natural flow state to show up and say, "Hey, I'm Ed." And I've had people say, I can't do this. I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people. And the more they do it, the easier it becomes. And kind of
Well,
like,
I'm
the
actually an
PhD
introvert myself. And people
Ed,
people think I'm not, but I am. I like being by myself. I don't like going out. I don't like going to events. I'm that kind of person. I've always been that way. Just because when you're an introvert, just because you look like you're great around crowds and people, does not mean you're an extrovert.
I know.
But
Just listen, you wouldn't be wearing that shirt out.
this helps me not be being an introvert.
Right. And so
I wanted to
let
mention
me,
to you.
let me just tell you this real quick, though. This
Yeah.
this is the PhD level on that shirt and the pink socks. Okay. Once upon a time, for the introvert, the person that didn't like to engage with people, they would say, I would tell them, okay, once upon a time, it was about the socks. That was helping you engage with people. Now you're having those connections on the days that you don't wear these. Just like you're having connections and you're engaging with people, even on the days that you don't wear that shirt. So in the beginning, maybe it was the shirt that helped you spark those connections. The PhD on this thing is hey, Ed, it never was about the shirt. It's always been about you.
Mm,
It's always been about the
mm,
person, not the pink socks.
mhm.
Once that happens and the people get that, and you're like, okay, I can stop calling myself an introvert now because
Mhm.
I'm not. I am a fucking people person like
Mhm.
everybody because it's hardwired in our DNA. It's in our brainstem, man. We crave connection as humans.
We do.
All of us. All of us. Everybody sitting on that bus, on that train, all of us. We want to connect. And so once we realize that and get in the game with that, we're like, hell yeah, man, let's say hello to everybody. I mean, the worst thing they're going to do is call security. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And the more when you get to know yourself in ways that you didn't before, it's always better. I have overcome a lot to get to where I am, and I got a long way to go, but I am enjoying every day.
Absolutely.
For me, I always say kindness is strength, and your story matters, and that's what is what really drives me. Let me ask you. So let me ask you. I always ask everybody a final question, but yours is going to be different because we're on the same plane,
Yeah.
and usually I ask people what this, and I'm not asking you this. Yours is similar, but it's different. Let me just ask you the question directly, and then I'll tell you what I usually ask. What would be? Can you share with the people that are listening, a pink experience you had with somebody in the last 6 months or this year in 2025 that really sticks out to you, whether it's the socks or the book or what you gave them, or even, you don't even have to have something, but share with us something that happened about kindness that really made a difference in somebody's life or your life, or there was an impact. You know where I'm going? Share something with us that is really worth exciting to hear.
Okay. Yeah. And so the book is a collection of stories like this. And um, it was last week I was in New
You've got a
York.
lot. You have a bucket load to share.
I know. I'm trying to I'm trying to just pick the one I want to share. I mean, I have more
I'm
than one
thinking
in a
he's got
day.
astronauts. He's got
I know,
all
but
these things. But it could be something very, very simple. That's the thing. It could be something that didn't make it in the book, but it was somebody at the gas station or
this
somebody.
this is an easy one. Okay. And these happen all the time, especially because I travel a lot. And so I was flying, out of LaGuardia, and plane is full. Woman on the side, woman on the side. I'm sitting here in the middle, and this is going to be a 2.5 hour flight, and um, everybody's got their earbuds in, and like, oh man. And so I just kind of nudged the lady, and I was like, hey, what are you watching? I'm interrupting her, from her movie because I'm forcing her to engage because I don't want to be just sitting here for 2.5 hours doing nothing. And she starts talking, and she's a lifelong New Yorker, and this cue central casting for whatever that comes up in your mind and how you know that sounds. Her son's an NYPD officer, and we start talking about all kinds of things New York related, and then it very quickly goes into politics with the new election for the mayor's race, and uh, she's. I said something to look. I never lived in New York. I love visiting. It's one of my favorite cities to visit, and I just think, from the outside watching the mayor's race and what's happened on that, I believe, good things are going to happen if people would just give him a chance. I believe that New York is going to be the model for the country, maybe in the world. That think really good things can happen here on how people can work together from totally different beliefs and sides of all the spectrums. If we would just give him a chance. And she went from being, he's going to be terrible, to, well, maybe if we do, so I don't know. And I said, well, what if we did? What if we just gave him a chance and see? I said, could work. And she's like, well, I just hope he doesn't get shot. I'm like, well, then you're gonna get shot too. And that led me into this, I said, well, listen, I've got something for you. And so I, reached and I gave her the sticker. I said, look, all we've got to do is just show up in every now with love and kindness. I mean, you're already doing it. You sat here and talked to me, and I'm wearing a dress and pink socks, for fuck's sake, right? You know what I mean? You let me interrupt your movie without having me thrown off the plane. You're already showing up with love and kindness. So all we got to do is keep doing this, deal? And so I gave her a sticker, and we got off the plane, got a hug. And then today I noticed that she found this on her Instagram account. And she's commented, she said, hey, I sat next to you on that flight on the 14th out of New York. And it's so good to read up about what you guys are doing with your nonprofit.
Come on.
Yeah, it's right there. The Go PinkSocks.life Instagram is our Instagram account, PinkSocks.life.
Wow.
And and so she was just, again, if we would just invite ourselves to let go of what we think we know, to let go of judgments and this construct of, that we've got to be on separate teams, and to sink into think, hey, what if we're all on the same team? Yeah, and that's what we are. And if we just will allow ourselves to show up with love and kindness, if we keep doing that, then that's where the magic happens. So I'm grateful that I was able to sit on that plane for 2.5 hours with her, and she shared some awesome stories. I mean, and even at the end when the plane landed, she's like, I'm really so glad that you interrupted me on this because the flight went by so fast. And I go, I know, doesn't it? I go, I fly all the time. I said, the last thing I want to do is just sit here and not talk. I said, because I've shared space and stories with so many wonderful people like you and what I've heard. And she's like, well, I bet everybody in this plane's, tired of hearing this New Yorker, run her mouth the whole time. It doesn't matter. I said, I'm grateful that you did. And, if we, Ed, everybody's got a story.
Absolutely.
And all we have to do is stop and listen.
Yeah.
And so if we'll do that, the world is a better place because of it. So all we've got to do is listen, man.
Yeah, it can have that big of a difference. It can make a huge difference. Nick, I don't know how to thank you, but saying thank you. Thanks for reaching out to me. Thanks for being on the show. Thank you for sharing so much of what you do. This is.
Thank you. I'm grateful, man. Come on, kindness podcast. I Googled, kindness podcast. It was you. So. Way to go.
This is I gotta tell you, I think this is the #1 podcast of the year for sure. I couldn't believe it when another kindness person reached out to me. I was like, this is going to be, and then I'm looking at, I was telling you when we were talking the other day, your colors for what you're doing is the same colors as mine. I got pink, because the visible kindness is all about pink, and you got pink, and it's just so interesting. On my website, it's like kindness is strength. Your story matters. Matters is in pink. I don't know why I chose that, but it's we've definitely connected for some reason. Yeah, we haven't found out. Who knows yet? Who knows?
Like attracts like. That's how it works, man.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Doing it.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you, brother. I'm grateful for you.
Yes, and you too.
Heart speaking. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Thank you.